Welcome to the Art of Pivoting Your Life, Breaking Free and Crafting Change. I'm Michelle Carbone, a clinical hypnotherapist and intuitive coach. You can call in for guidance and coaching on making a pivot in your own life. The number to call is 516-623-1240. As always, we have plenty to talk about if nobody calls in, but we'd love to hear from you too.
Today, I have the wonderful Emma with me, Emma Johnson, who is
Oh,
a Brit but lives in Australia. Welcome. Thank you so much
I
for being
do.
on
I
the
like to
show.
confuse people.
Do what?
I love to confuse people.
I know, right? And you're actually sounding a little Australian.
Oh no, really. The accent's caught up with me. We've been here for 4 years now. Yeah, we moved from the UK to Australia after having spent a lot of time working in the US and Europe as well. So I think it's a bit of a mix.
I love it though. It's fantastic. I could listen to you talk all day.
Oh.
And And Emma is, she works with entrepreneurs, with women entrepreneurs, and helps them achieve their goals. And she also made some huge pivots in her life, obviously. So let's get into it. So tell us a little bit about the, transition that you made and the big pivots that you made, just, summary wise.
So, thanks for having me on, Michelle. It's always lovely to speak to you. But I guess if we go back sort of like 10 years in my story, I was a highly paid recruitment consultant living in London. I had just bought a brand new flat in the centre of London, a beautiful garden flat. And honest to goodness, I thought my life was made. I was on six figures. I was being headhunted, landed this job, beautiful home. And I don't know if people remember back that far, but it's when the global financial crisis hit. And literally within moments, I was 5 weeks and 5 days into a 6 week probationary period with my job. And I got called into the office and they said, "We're really sorry, Emma, but we're going to have to let you go. We don't have the projects that we brought you on board to manage." And my whole world crumbled.
I can't
And I was
imagine.
left with this enormous, yeah, see, just turned 30. I had this enormous mortgage. I'd gone from six figures to nothing. And it was a real pivot for me. I really had to make a decision. Do I fall into pity or do I pick myself up and start over? And it was the latter. I was like, what can I do? Where can I go? What skills have I got? How do I best apply those? And how do I make the most for it? And fast forward 10 years, I now own a multi-six-figure business coaching company. We live in Australia. We have a multi-million-dollar home that we own outright. And things really have turned around.
That's amazing. I love it. That is so awesome. And tell me a little bit about what you help other women with and some of the challenges you've seen with them.
So my passion is really in helping others, mostly women. I think people are just drawn to me. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, but helping people to realize their fullest potential without stress and without overwhelm. And as adults, like we're really, really good at making things complicated, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
We like talk ourselves into things. I want to talk ourselves out of things. And what I say my superpower is being able to see solutions where others see problems. So I just love unraveling that complication for people and helping people realize their dreams, their goals, their potential. I have a life coaching background, but I work mostly in the world of entrepreneurship with coaches, therapists, and those providing online services for clients.
Very cool. And you do also practice, or you are trained in RTT, right?
I am. I find mindset is just so big. It's the one thing that lets people down. You can have all of the best strategies in the world. You can know all of the things. I mean, we're grown ups, aren't we? We know what to do. We know the right things generally, but it's those mind monkeys that come into play. So for me, that was a really, really important part of not just helping people with the strategies and a plan, but really helping people believe in themselves and find that that inner courage to move forward. It's something that I drew on heavily when I experienced those big pivots in my life. And it was not allowing myself to fall into despair, but really, really seeing it as an opportunity to start over. So that for me is so, so important, that having that support, having that guidance to really call ourselves out on that internal BS.
Yeah.
And move forward from a place of fact, not belief.
Yeah. I love it. I always like to ask this question. What's your favorite rule of the mind?
Oh my gosh. You put me on the spot
I
now.
know.
Is that, you are always enough. Like I actually live by, it's what I teach my students. I live by 3 prosperity pillars. Number 1 being guidance. Number 1 being abundance. Number 2 being guidance. Number 3 being choice. And that basically means just knowing that there is always enough. You are enough. There are enough opportunities. There is enough time. There is enough money. There is just always enough. Now, when that pillar is off for us, that's when we can fall into scarcity. That's when we can question, am I going to earn enough? Am I going to get enough clients? Am I going to be able to do enough? Maybe I need another course here, or I need to do something there. But just understanding that actually in life, there is always enough. That, when one door closes, another one opens. And that leads then to guidance, the pillar, that everything is happening for us, not to us.
I love that.
And when that pillar is off, we tend to think, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Instead of looking for that lesson. And I'm a strong believer in the universe helping us to autocorrect.
Yeah.
So going back those 10 years, and I said, I thought I had it made, everything was great. If I look back, I was probably a little bit big for my boots. Like I'd fallen forward so many times, and I was getting a little bit complacent, and life just happened.
Yeah.
And it was the universe's way of going, this isn't meant for you. Now, I could have gone in, why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this falling apart? Why is this going wrong? But I didn't. And I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do, but it is something through the mindset work that I've done and working with professionals that I lean into, what do I need to learn in this moment? What am I forcing? What's not quite right?
Yeah.
Why is this happening for me? And bringing out that lesson. And then the final one being, we get to choose. In every single situation, we get to choose. And if we feel that we don't have a choice, that in itself is a choice. We have given away our power.
Right.
So we get to choose how we feel about something. We get to choose how somebody's thoughts, feelings, and actions impact us. We get to choose what we do with our time. And each time we allow ourselves to believe that we have no choice, we've made a choice.
Right.
We've made a choice to disempower ourselves. So, the first, you said 1. I kind of got 3. Is that okay? Am I allowed 3?
I love it. We're so aligned. It's great. It's like I love having people like you on, because I'm like, oh, I know we'll have a great conversation because we're so aligned.
Totally. I mean, you and I have known each other for quite a while now anyway, and we have a very similar philosophy and background on that. So I think it's really relevant.
Yeah. And I love your bizcations. I want you to tell people about this philosophy and action that you take to dedicate yourself to your business and focus, and how that goes for you.
Oh, I'm kind of becoming known for that. So #bizcation. I think a few people have jumped onto that bandwagon, but it's a phrase I coined probably about 3 years back, and it comes down to those prosperity pillars that I was just talking about. I was sat having dinner with my husband one evening and saying, I just wish the world would stop and I could jump off and get my shit together and then jump back on. And he said, well, why don't you just take some time out and in that moment, I was overcomplicating things. I wasn't even heeding my own advice. I was like, oh, I've got clients I need to serve. I've got to sort the kids out. I've got this I need to do. And he literally held the mirror up to me and said, but isn't that what you teach people, to literally listen to yourself? And I was like, all right, Hafsa, you've done it. You've done it again. And that's when Bizcation was born. And the reason I term it business and vacation kind of combined is because I plan 1 week every quarter for me. And in that week, it's whatever I need to do to be the best version of myself.
I love
So
that.
if it's to catch up with some admin for the business, I do that. I do make a rule. I don't do client calls in that week. That's really a nourishment week for me. If I need to sleep, I sleep. If I need a massage, I have a massage. But it's a week, and I am very lucky. I have the support of my husband on this, and I appreciate that. If you're a single parent, it might be slightly harder, but it's a week where I am not a wife. I am not a mum. I am not even really a business owner. I am just, in the purest sense, myself. And I listen to what I need, and I do what I need. And I think the hardest thing was just realizing that actually sometimes what you need to do is to step back to move forward.
Yes.
And that's what Vacation Week was about. It was taking my foot off the pedal, opening my eyes, getting that little bit of objectivity, that little bit of clarity, and the business thrives. Every single time I do that, there's a surge in the business.
I love that.
So that's where it came from.
I love it. And I love that your husband can call you out, that he actually like knows your work and is like,
Don't tell him
hey,
I said that.
what a great partner. I mean, really, because it's like we need those partners that'll be like, hey, you're not listening to yourself.
Yeah. And I think kids are great for that as well.
Oh yeah. They have no
So
filters,
they
right?
often hold the mirror up to us. Yeah, and it's black and white. And I think when we can do that for ourselves as well, when we can challenge, perhaps patterns of behavior that we've developed, or thoughts that we've had, or beliefs that we've had, and we can challenge that and say, well, why not? And as long as we can go through that process and answer that with honesty, I think that's the bit that really holds people back and stops people from pivoting. I mean, that's what this show is about. It's like how to make that pivot.
Yeah.
And it comes down to asking yourself those difficult questions and then making a decision. And that's that third pillar, that choice pillar. We get to decide. We can say, no, I'm going to keep things exactly as they are, and I'm going to accept like the limitations and all of those things that are going on in my life, or I'm going to do something different, and it's going to be scary, and it might not work out, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because if you don't try, then you won't know if it could have
You just
succeeded.
don't know. No.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then all you're doing is you're living in this belief state. Well, it might not have worked out. Well, great, but what if it did?
right?
Like, allow yourself to go there, because you're already living out the worst case scenario in your mind of it didn't work. That's the situation that you're in right now. So the worst that can happen is it stays the same.
Right. So many people don't focus on what could work out, and instead they're just stuck because what if I fail? But what if it works out?
And there's that rule of the mind. Yeah, it's that subconscious, isn't it? It's our subconscious, which only goes off the information that we feed it. But it's our subconscious going, oh, hang on a minute. You thought that it would be dangerous or that it would make you unhappy. So I'm going to keep you super, super safe, and we're just going to stay with what we know. But actually, thoughts, beliefs aren't facts. They can absolutely be changed.
Yes.
And it's our job to challenge them constantly.
Yeah, I wish that we encourage that more as a society, because I was talking about this last week with my guest, it's like realizing like, oh, the things I believe aren't even things I believe. They're just things I was told and that I, as a child,
Yeah.
took in. And then, I don't question what my mom told me, but, she told me,
Mm.
basically get married and have two kids. And I didn't want to have kids. you know and it was like this big fight of within me, and then and society is very much like that too. Oh, you get married and have kids, that's what you do. And I'm like, not everyone wants to
Yeah.
do that, and that's a legitimate life choice. I mean, it's okay to not have children. And some people can't have children who do want them, which is
Yeah.
sad, but it's like
Absolutely.
there's all kinds of ways to
I
live.
think I think Yeah, and I think social media has a lot to answer to. Now, I'm not bagging social media. It's the be all and end all of my business. But I think so many people are impressionable and will seek out advice, or will follow something or hear something or listen to what somebody has said or read something and take it as fact.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's okay. But just remembering that you get to choose. Pillar number 3, your choice. You get to choose what you believe. You get to choose what you think.
Yeah.
And I really, really encourage you to challenge what social media presents is a curated version of the business or someone's life. It's the parts that they want you to see. It's not the whole picture.
Oh yeah,
So
right.
before you go headlong into a belief, yeah, let's look at both sides. Let's ask, is that what I believe, or is that what I've been told? Is that fact? And just having that objective conversation with yourself
Mhm.
and allowing yourself to see both sides.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to go with the flow. It's much easier to accept the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And I think, as adults, that's something that we do all too easily. Because there's so much going on, isn't there? We've got work, we've got business, we've got life, we've got families, and we want to move through that in the easiest possible way. So something I'm really passionate about is like simplifying success, simplifying your life. That's like my little mantra, my little motto, and it's removing all of the fluff, removing all of the clutter, and really just coming back to, what do you want, my lovely? What do you want?
Mhm.
And then let's look at, how the hell can you go and get that?
Yeah.
Because often we will put the limitations on ourselves even before we've explored.
Or even before you know what you want.
Well, that's it. You've got to decide first. That's what comes first. What do you want?
Yeah.
And
I
then
I've had many
when
clients,
from
I'm like,
there
"What do
we'll
you
go,
want?" And they're like,
well, okay,
I don't know."
what do you want? Yeah, and so it's like, if I have clients come to me and I say, well, what do you want? And they'll go, oh, well, I really want to make 6 figures in my business, or I really want to make 7 figures in my business, but. And I'm like, no, stop. There is no but.
Right?
Tell me what you want, and then we'll go figure it out. And they'll go, but, maybe it's really greedy of me to think that, or no one in my family has ever done that, or people like me can't do that, or
Mhm.
what if the IRS gets involved and I make a mistake and I do it? I'm like, awesome, but tell me, what do you want?
Yeah,
You
like
want
you're
to
living in
make 6
the
figures,
future that's
or
not
you want to
even
make 7?
there.
Yeah, totally. And then, like Marie Forleo, I love her to pieces, but as she says, everything is figure outable. But you have to start with what you want in the first place. Then we can look at, well, what skill gaps do you have? What knowledge gaps do you have? Is there a passion behind this? Is there a drive behind this? And then we can figure it out.
Yeah.
And you might not know all of the steps right now. But hey, life, if you're lucky, lasts a really good chunk of time.
Yeah.
So instead of living with all the like shouldas, wouldas, couldas, let's focus on what we can do and what we can do about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I was working with a client today, and it was just like, she's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, breathe. You don't need to know everything right now. there's things you can do
Yeah.
and there's
You don't
things
need
you
to know the
can't do.
steps. You just need to know what you want.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah.
want? And well, in her case, it was like her husband left and he's being very not kind and that sort of thing. But, I'm like, okay, well, you can't, make him disappear. So what can you do to protect yourself if you're in fear?
Yeah.
These are the steps you can, what are
Yeah.
small things you can do to just know that you're moving forward a little bit? And some people get
Absolutely.
so
Have a
stuck,
plan.
they don't even see that one small step.
I know. I can't. That's the big question that I ask literally every single person, whether they come to me for a free discovery call to talk through options, or we're working together in a client coaching capacity. The question I ask is, what do you want? And the 9 times out of 10 people will come to me and go, I don't know. And I'm like, right, excellent. That's where we start.
Yeah.
That's the bit that we figure out, because I'm not helping you to build a website. I'm not helping you with your social media copy. I'm not helping you with your offers until you decide what it is that you want, and then we'll build it around that. So who do you want to help? How do you want to help them? Why do you want to help them? In what ways do you want to help them? What do you want? And then we will figure the rest out. But if you come back, I don't know, well, why would anyone want to invest in you? And it's a tough love question.
Yes.
But if you don't know what you want, how can somebody else have that courage, that faith, that trust to part with their hard-earned money for your skills and your advice?
Mm-hmm.
Get clear on yourself at first. And even in life, whether it's business or not, just decide what you want. If there's a situation at home that's not working for you, get clear on what you want. It could be, I want to be able to communicate with my partner better.
Right.
Or I want to have firmer boundaries with my friends. But just know what you want. You might not know how to do that yet, but what do you want? So I want to be able to communicate better with my husband. Fantastic. Now we know what you want. We can break that down into steps as to how you can figure that out. And it could be, you need counseling, or it could be that you need to work on yourself first, or it could be that you need to unravel your childhood beliefs around something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the how until you figured out what the what is.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love it. And just because I think we're running a little low on time, would you mind giving your website, socials, all that jazz in case someone wants to reach out?
Absolutely, my pleasure. So you can find me online at www.emmajohnsonandco.com and on all popular social media platforms at emmajohnsonandco.com.
And I have to tell
So
you,
Emma
when I
Johnson
worked
and
with
Co.
you,
is all the sites.
you telling me to keep all of my things the same was just
Yeah, makes
I
life a
just
lot
so
easier,
appreciate
doesn't it?
that.
Yeah. So Emma Johnson and Co. on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it. Go check it out and reach out if there's anything that I can support you with.
Yeah, I love it. What would you say to somebody who, I'm guessing you run into imposter syndrome a lot?
Yeah.
What would be one thing you would tell someone
Absolutely.
that has that?
So it's not something that you have, it's just a belief again. So imposter syndrome is something that we impose on ourselves in order to stay safe. So as with everything, we work with abundance, guidance, and choice. Start with what you want. If you feel that you're being hard on yourself, if you're being self-critical, if you're self-sabotaging, decide first and foremost, is this how you want to live? And if not, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because everything, like I said, everything is figure outable. If you're struggling on your own, ask for help. Decide that you want to be different, that you want things to change. And that's the catalyst to everything.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. And maybe we'll have you on again and we'll get more into it. And for anyone who wants to reach out to me, my website is zenmindmichelle.com, and also all the socials are zenmindmichelle. And we'll see you guys, or you'll hear us next week. Thank you so much.